Okay.
So, welcome guys to join our computer class today. So this is our first lessons about the hardwares. So I just want you guys respond me. So what is the computer hardware in your concept? Oh, I see the Limbo is also entered.
It's like a computer and then with like PC with like different parts, like memories, and then core processors
Yeah,
and things like that.
yeah. So this is the computer hardware. We also coded some associate about the computer associate like the mouse, keyboard, and it is also included the computer hardware. So this is the picture of the computer hardware. As you see that there are the computer case, the CPU, the motherboard means there are all, another name is mainboard, but so-called is motherboard, and the power supply, RAM, display card, and some water cooled heaters. So yeah, as I was mentioned, there are the list of the computer hardware. How many you guys do you know the functions and have you heard the name about this all of the components? Any ideas? Just I just want to know you guys the ability or the knowledge of the computer hardware.
I have heard of these before when I hear friends talking about building their own PC or upgrading their parts.
Okay, so all kind of this specific term, have you listened it before, or have you seen that before? Like the
I've
CPU.
I've heard of it before, yes.
Okay. So today I will just talk about the basic concepts about the computer hardware. Later on, for the second lesson, I will tell you what is the CPU and the video cards, the hard disk, how you can choose. After you listen all kind of this, the knowledge, you can do sales in Hong Kong, and you will have a knowledge to build up the computers and how to select the products of the computer hardware. So just talk about the basic things. The computer, the flow of the computer is you have the input associations like the keyboard, microphone, mouse. That is you can type the data, and then you do the process. All the process is made up by the computer hardware, like the CPU to process all the input data to the outputs to the monitors. So if you have the microphones, you record your own voice, like the songs, and then process through the computer hardware and then output to the speaker. That's such kind of the things. So this is my questions to all of you guys. What components or which part of the computers that make the computer fast and slow? Can you guys tell me any ideas? Depends on the video card, depends on the CPU, RAM, motherboard, or your hard drive.
I think depends on the CPU and RAM.
Yeah. Mostly, the most important, your CPU is fast or not is sorry, your computer is fast or not is the CPU and the RAM, and also the motherboard have slightly influence to the computer speed. So let's talk about the computer first, like the supercomputers. So for the basic concept, the supercomputer is the fastest the CPU and the computers in the world. They are using for the some research of the scientifics or the weather forecast in the futures and what is the coming days or coming weeks. So there are around 1,000 of the CPUs in the supercomputers and more than 2,000 of the hard disks inside it to record the data which is processed by the supercomputers. As I was mentioned that the weather forecasting, climate research, and some even though the oil or gas exploration, it is used by the supercomputers to do some research. There are our normal computer is just used around 1 to 2 CPU, but mostly we are using the 1 CPU. If the company using the server, it's around maintained at around 8 to 12 CPU for the company server, but the supercomputer is using like the military defense and also some weather forecast, something like that. Is a government usage. So this is our the personal computers. As I was mentioned, there are only the single chips of the CPU, and the spaces that occupy to the room is so tiny than the supercomputer, and it is just for the entertainment and the company usage. Most of our we use it the personal computer to do that's kind of the jobs or duties. We don't use our computers to do the forecasting, the weather, and even though if you have any ideas about the cytos is not enough for you to have a single computer. You have around 100 of the computers combined together and then run the software. After that, you can earn the cytos or exploring the cytos in the any guys have any ideas about the cytos like the Bitcoins or ETF, something like that?
I've heard about it and know a little bit about cryptocurrency.
Yeah, the currency is using this the CPU to like the research or like the answer some question which is provided by the software, and after you answer or to something like that, to answer the questions, and then you can earn the Bitcoins. Before the Bitcoins is in 10 years before it's just around 7 HKD per one Bitcoin, but now is it's extremely expensive now. So we also talk about the laptop computer. As I was mentioned that our desktop computer is much more familiar in our life, but nowadays we have a laptop computer. But most of the laptop computer, their CPU is worse than the PC and the desktop CPU, because of they are portable to going to outside for doing some work. It is not sufficient to provide the much power, or the battery cannot provide enough power to the CPU if that is stronger than and that is like if you're using the desktop compute CPU, it's around using your 100 watts. It is an extremely power consumption that the battery cannot avoid it for the long times. And also the video card, like the display card, is an eco power. So if you like to play the games in the laptop computer, it is possible. But if you play some difficult, like you open the big resolution in the monitor to display it, and then to play the games, it is so difficult for the laptop to run it. So that's why most of the laptop computer is worse than the our desktop computer. And we also have one computer that founded our market nowadays, like the tablets. So I think all of you guys have heard it, like the iPad Pro, the new series. They have founded a new computer like the M1. M1 Pro now is already launched around 1 year before. It is combined the CPU and the GPU together. GPU means the display card process. So they combine all together. And it is Apple claims that the CPU, the M series CPU, is much more powerful than the normal computer. Even though if you want to compare the desktop CPU, it is much powerful than, but it just depends on some of the software, like the video editing. But if you want to run some games, it is hard to compare, because even though nowadays the Apple M series computer can't play like some famous game like the GTA, CS:GO, they can't play it because of the CPU limitation. There are not only the Apple can do the CPU for the tablets, there are also another brand like Snapdragon is one kind of the series that is using for the most of the company they use it for the Android platform. And most of the tablet, they're using the SSD, the flash, to save the data. It is more faster than the because most of the desktop or the laptop, they are still using the hard disk. But hard disk is the oldest, the saving drive before. So the tablet, when you compare the SSD and the hard disk, the SSD is much more faster to save and load the data, and even though load the videos. And the OLED and Super AMOLED monitor is used into the tablets. Like our smartphone, we also using the platform like the iOS and the Android system. So the iOS is just available to the Apple devices. As I was mentioned, Apple they can make their own CPU, so they won't use any Snapdragon CPU now. And the Android system is available to different brand CPU, like the as I was mentioned, like the Snapdragon MTK CPU, and the name Huawei CPU, something like that. So there are also not only that two kind of the platform, like the sorry, I don't know how to how to spell the name. It's a Harmony OS CPU, which is after the sanction of the European countries, the Huawei built up the new CPU platform to build up their own market in China and in the world. So this is the CPU. Sorry, this is their platform, the Huawei platform. So as you see that it is so similar to the Android platforms. And even though I talked to you guys some secrets about the Android platform and the Apple platform, mostly they are the same mother system. They are using this, seems like the same language system that based on the Linux system. So they have some same way and the same characteristic that make them to convenience to the mobile system to use it. So let's talk about the resolution. This is the monitor resolutions. I think you guys have some ideas about what is the Full HD and the 4K if you heard it before. So can you guys tell me what is the 1000 of the 18p and the 4K if you heard it? What is the difference between each other? Why we talk about the 4K is so familiar now? Any ideas?
Because 4K is bigger.
Yes. Yes.
And would like I think would like look better as well, higher quality.
Yeah. So that is the reality. The reality shows that the 4K can show the bigger the picture or the screen to our eyes. So that is the 4K what is them to do. But remember that the 4K is just only suitable for the like the 40 features of the monitor, because it is not enough for the 4K placed on a small monitor, because it can't to it is hard to display it in the small monitor because of the limitation of the size of the monitor. So nowadays we have some type of the monitors that using different the specific items like the iPixel, VA, and the TN. So what is the difference between each other? If you go to the Golden Shopping Mall in the Shamshui-Po or the computer center, or even though the computer shop, you can see there are some of the brand show that iPixel. So what is the iPixel? iPixel is not the new things, it's the old things, but it can show that the good color display and the very good response to the monitor to show different colors and different angles. Even though if you views the monitor in different degrees, like you just sit lower or sit upper to watch the monitors, it is no any difference between each other. You can also feel the monitor clearly. So, and also nowadays there are some esports is so familiar to in Hong Kong, or even though in the outside other countries, they have some esports. They play that every month, like the LOL, DOTA, and CS:GO. This is the most of the esports that they do it. So most of the esports, the players, they use the TN monitor for their PC gamer using, because it can show that 240 hertz the display, the refresh rate on their monitor. So I will tell you later what is the hertz and the refresh rate, and the refresh rate, what is it? I will tell you later. But the things of the TN monitor is there are the Versa color display that showed it in the piece, the monitor. So that is the priority that you can order. That why the iPixel is so famous to the public audience now. And if you have time to go the Golden Shopping Center Mall, and then you can see there are not only the iPixel is so familiar now, and also there are some OLED monitor that is attracted to so many people to buy. So what is the OLED? If you're using the iPhone or using most of the famous brand of the smartphone, most of the monitor, they are using the OLED monitor. OLED monitor, there are one specific characteristic. If it is shown to the black side, the OLED monitor will not using any powers to show the black side, because it is off the if you show all the black, or show some kind of the black picture, or the black background, it is not using any power for the OLED monitor. So it shows that the monitor of the OLED is more fascinating about the color shows. And as I was mentioned about the refresh rate, I will like to show you some definition firstly, and then I will show you the difference between each other. The refresh rate, I don't know how many you know about this knowledge. It is about the if the monitor shows that is the 60 hertz, something like that, it means that the 1 second you can see 60 of the pictures in your screen that show it. So this is also one kind of the monitor that is selling point to the new iPhone 30 Pro. As you see that there are different monitor, there are slightly different changes before the iPhone 30 and the iPhone 30 and the iPhone 12. The iPhone 12 is using the 60 hertz refresh rate, and the iPhone 30 Pro is using the 120 of the refresh rate. So as you see the picture, this is just simply shows that the 60 hertz, 90 hertz, and the 120 hertz. What is it? Show it. You can see that the 60 hertz of the monitor, there are some like the ghost picture, and it is not smoothly, while I show you the GIF picture like this one. can you see that? If your monitor, I just want to mention about that. If your monitor is cannot lower it for the 120 Hertz, you can't see there are any difference between the 120 Hertz and the 60 Hertz. So I may share the videos to you guys. What is the difference between each other? Just give me the minutes. Wait. Can you guys see the video?
No, I see like the square of it. I see it in your files.
Okay, sorry. I just, now is okay?
Yeah, yes. Is there supposed to be sounds on this video?
You can hear the sound, right?
Oh no, I can't hear it.
You can or you can't?
I cannot.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I need to fix it.
Go to an electronics store and maybe they'll have one to show.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
You can go to an electronics store and maybe they'll have one to show you, or a friend's house, because really you do have to see it in person to get the full experience. Now, to show you what I mean, let's look at some side-by-side game footage at 144Hz 1440p and 240Hz at 1080p. And I've recorded all of this with an AVerMedia capture card. So it's pretty clear, especially in slow motion, quite how smooth movement and actions are compared to 60Hz. And at full speed, this can genuinely transform how a game plays. To be clear, while a refresh rate is the number of frames the monitor can display in a second, the actual number of frames you'll see, your FPS, will depend on the game, the graphic settings, and how powerful your PC is, but we'll come back to this. So why does it make a difference? Well, for every frame on a 60Hz screen, we get 2.4 frames with a 144Hz monitor and 4 frames with a 240Hz one. This means gameplay can be much smoother, and the step up from 60 to 144Hz is a huge improvement. And while the change from 144 to 240Hz is not as obvious, it's still very impressive. In either case, it makes a big difference, particularly in fast-paced, competitive multiplayer games. So it's smoother and it looks nicer, but can a high refresh monitor actually make you win more in games? Well, personally, yeah, I reckon it could. So having low input lag and low response times are important as well on any gaming monitor, but so is the frame rate. The time between frames at 60Hz adds a lot to the lag you perceive between clicking the mouse and seeing the result on the screen. And so as the time between frames at higher refresh rates is lower, the action appears on the screen quicker. Nvidia actually ran a recent study where they found players with higher frame rates got better overall win ratios. For example, say an enemy is coming around the corner. If you're getting more frames in a given second, there's a chance you'll see them several frames earlier than you would on a normal 60Hz screen, which is all important where quick reactions make the difference between winning and, well, usually in my case, not winning. So the higher the frame rate, the more up-to-date visual information you're getting, which could give you an advantage. Now to my eye, and actually even harder to show you, is that the image also appears to be a bit clearer thanks to reduced ghosting, which is that weird effect where moving objects leave a blurry trace of where they were in the previous frame. And so
Okay, so there are some, there are some concept about the refresh rate, the difference between the refresh rate. So nowadays, most of the not only the desktop computer, the monitors, they're using the refresh rate to using it's the selling point. Even though nowadays our smartphone monitor, they are using the hertz rate to compare each other when we need to buy the smartphone. So as the video mentioned before, the high refresh rate can give you smoothly, like the playing games, or even though watching the football match, the some videos or just the movies, it is more smoothly than the lower hertz. Actually, I'm not sure. Can you see the difference between the 60 hertz or 120 hertz? If you have an iPhone, the latest iPhone, or if you have a latest like the S22, S20, there are difference between each other. If you need to compare the old, like the old Android phones, there you may see the difference between each other, and you may see that why it is the latest smartphone is smoothly. It is not only about the CPU improvement, but also it's also included the monitor changes the refresh rates, so that make you watch the video smoothly or watch the football match like more smoothly. But the high the refresh rate, there are some disadvantages of the high power consumptions. That is the Apple always concerned about it. If you heard that the latest iPhone 30 Pro Max, it is so the weight of this iPhone is the largest weight that the before models, because of the battery using is much more larger than before, because of not only the CPU improvement that is using more power consumption, but also the monitor is much more bigger and much more high refresh rates that require you to using much more power consumptions. So that's why most of the latest phone, they nowadays is much more high. Is much more heavy than before. So let's talk about the monitors, how to show the 4K or upper resolutions. If you heard that some HDMI display output before, there are different types of the HDMI version. The old version can't support the 4K resolution output and the high refresh rates. So that's why nowadays they have the HDMI company to provide update version to improve it, like improve the color of the monitors and the more truly about the monitors. And even though the associate of the HDMI is the method, is a platform, or is like the associate to spending the video's data to your monitor. So it is so important now. If you want to play a high resolution video like the 4K, 10K frames, it is required you to have a good or have a license of your HDMI 2.1, this kind of the models. So please make sure about if you want to buy the new cable about the HDMI, make sure that it is the latest one and have a license about HDMI 2.1. You have to ask the sales about the license that which type of the HDMI they got. So this is the development of the HDMI. You can see that the ways, the time of the speed is much more larger than before. I mean the spending the videos. If it is not enough to spending the videos of the cable, or you using the old cable to spread it like the 10Ks, it is also possible to play it for the big monitor. But you have one thing you have to consider, it is the video, the quality of the video, and you may see the video is a little bit late because of the quality of the HDMI is not the latest version. The data is not enough. It can't have enough space to output it to the monitor. So that is the problems to the monitor to show it it is so smoothly. So this is like the whole picture, the difference between the 10K and the Full HD. 10 years we use it Full HD to become our standard, but nowadays we are using 4Ks. So in the coming future, like the 8K and the 10Ks. But to ensure that like the Hong Kong, it is a small houses, it is hard to place the big monitor like the 8K and the 10Ks. The monitor like the television, it is so hard to place it. If you are living like the village house, I think it is possible to have a 8K television or a 10K television, but the prices also increased if you need to compare to the 4K television. Let's talk about the speaker. There are 3 types of the speaker. So the differences between all of the speaker are just only how many of the speaker they owned it. So similarly, 2.1 channel system is worse than the 5.1 channel the speaker, because of 5.1 they have 3 more extra the speaker out. The low frequency response we have a better than the performance to the 2.1 channel because of they have owned more sound speaker. So if you played the music, 5.1 would be better than the 2.1. So as I was mentioned about that, why there are still some market about the 2.1. As I was mentioned before, Hong Kong is a very limited city by the flat. So even though I'm using the 2-channel speaker system, because you cannot place your speaker in a bigger space, the places, so that I bought the 2.1 and the 2.0, even though the 2.0 channel system, but I buy it the better quality of the speaker. How to evaluate what is the better speaker? It just depends on your ears. If you heard that it can provide a good voices or good like the good vocal that you heard it in the some computer shopping center, you can buy it. And I think it is so bad. It is better for you to go to the shop reality rather than just buy the speaker in the online, because you can't listen the voices. You can't test the speaker of through the online shop. So yeah, and even though the monitor is also depends on your feelings on your eyes. So let's talk about the mouse. I'm not talking about the wireless or not the cable mouse. I'm not talking about this so simple things, but I just want to teach you some the specific the characteristic of our mouse now, which is based on nowadays you may see a lot of the mouse. There are different types or different like different shape of the mouses that you see. It is depends on the human design, because of the basic mouse is not for the long-term use, and most of the people they have some computer mouses diseases that occurred before, because of the standard design of the mouses is not suitable for the long-term usage. So that's why nowadays there are so many different shape of the mouse that you seen that in the market. So if you want to how do you want to choose the mouse is suitable for you? It is also for you guys to go to the shopping mall, and then to there are so many sample to for you guys to to test it, which size or which shape of the mouse is comfortable for you to use it for the long-term usage. So so what is the differences between each of the gaming mouse? As the esports is arised in recent year, there are many companies they announced many mouses which is related to the gaming mouse. So what is the gaming mouse? It is not only most of the gaming mouse, they own the RGB lights, and they have the software supported for their coming updates. It is depends on the speed of the mouse, like the DPI. So what is DPI? DPI means the larger DPI, that your response rate is more faster, is more smoother. If you play the games like the gun games, as I played the CS, the Counter-Strike, if I choose the high DPI, that I can change the corner or change my fields smoothly or fastly, so that I will choose the high DPI for my gaming mouse. And if most of the people they are using some documents, I think they're just using the normal DPI, like the 500 DPI is also enough for them to have a sufficient usage. Most of the gaming mouse they provide around 10,000 of the DPI that provided in the market. And also there are lots of the bottom of the mouses by the gaming mouse that I can show you one kind of the products that I use it now. Wait. So I'm using the ASUS, the Taiwan products of the mouse of my normal usage. Why I choose that mouse? Because there are not only the RGB lights. RGB means the red, green, and the blue. So this is means that the colorful. There are three main color that mix together that can make it different colors. So this is called the RGB. There are lots of bottom, as you see that in the near side. It can be used by the change the DPI. If you click the bottom, it is so useful when you're playing the games and you want to for the another people to use it. Maybe they use the slower DPI. They can just click the bottom and then change it immediately, rather than you have to change. You have to go to the Windows setting and then set the DPI speed. It is so inconvenience. But nowadays, the e-gaming mouses is much more convenient to change the DPI. So this is the characteristic that show the differences between the gaming mouse. Even though it is so portable, when you want to become the wireless, or even though you use it with the cable, it's also available for the different usage. And even though it is so, if you use it around 12 of the hours, you don't feel it so tired when using some gaming mouse. So that's why there most of the people they're using the gaming mouse now rather than just the normal computer mouse in the office. So and also the better computer mouse they provided to change the bottom inside the mouse. There are one kind of the components inside the part of the mouses. So that is the characteristic of my mouses that I show it to you guys. What is the consideration about buying the mouses? I hope you guys can know more about this kind of the things. Just wait a minute. Okay, we go back to our PowerPoint, and I want to teach you one more terms about the blue switch and the MX brown switch, something like that. So what is the difference between this kind of the buttons inside in the keyboard or the mouses? It just have a differences between each of the sound that heard it is the so different. I have to show you the videos, but just give me around 2 minutes to prepare it. Just wait me 2 minutes. So I would like to show the videos about but maybe it is not very fluent. while using the YouTube to play it, but let's see what is the difference between each port. Can you heard it?
Yes.
It is more silent when compared to other. So this is the differences between different modes. Give me some time to back to the PowerPoint. So there are the different sound that you heard it. The differences between the blue switch and the MX brown. Hey, what happened? Yes, this page. So there are the sound difference between each other for the gaming mouse and the gaming keyboard. If we have an opportunity to like the site visits, I think we can do 1 times to site visits to go to the Golden shopping mall, that I can introduce what is the different parts of the components of the computers, and we can teach you how can you select the products and what is the differences between the gaming mouse and the normal mouse, like the gaming keyboard and the normal keyboard. I can tell you all the things and can tell you all the details about the this kind of the differences. So I have already today, I think I've already finished my lessons, but I want to decreases this the content of the lessons because of it is not enough person to join with us. So in the next lesson, I will tell you what is the CPU and how can you select the CPU, and what is the differences between each of the CPU and the motherboard and the hard drive, power supply, this kind of the most of the important things in the computer inside. So today, the lessons is just talking about some basic things that remind you or to give you some knowledge about the computer hardware and associate about the computer. So can I ask you guys what we learned today?
We learned about the different hardwares and differences between each of the categories, and which one is probably more preferred or better.
Yeah. How about Nan, your friend Nana Limbu? She doesn't have the speaker. Sorry, she doesn't have the microphones.
I think so. Yes.
Okay, okay, no problem. I think if you have any ideas, you can also type it in the chat box. I'm not sure is it he can type or not, but no problems. This is our first lesson, or any comments or any ideas about these lessons you want to, any suggestion you want to give it to me, and then do some feedback about this lesson.
I like the PowerPoint slides.
You want to add in more information or?
Maybe it could have a little bit more details for each, like not sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Or maybe like
because
more examples, maybe.
Oh, okay, more example. Okay, thank you for your suggestion. I will do it in the coming further lessons. Because the associate, I mean the mouse, the keyboard, there are a lot of things that I want to tell you. Because there are nothing special between or any differences between nowadays and the befores, and there are some new function and some concept is so important to you guys. But in the computer side, like how to choose the display card, motherboard, and CPU, I will tell you so details. So in the coming two lessons, which is you have to join it. Don't miss it, because I use a lot of time to ready my PowerPoint and my experience, because I have around 8 to 10 years the experience about the computer hardware. Even though nowadays I'm not doing the computer hardware jobs. I'm not the engineers. I'm not the sales of the computer hardware, because of doing sales in the computer is not enough money to give me survival in the Hong Kong society. So that's why I worked in the NGOs. So I just hold this kind of the computer talks to you guys. Hope you guys can have some knowledge increases after this lesson. But any new knowledge that you grabbed it in this lesson?
Maybe there are like some new terms. Because I've heard about like these terms before and these different components from like my gaming friends. Yeah, like I've heard them talk about like keyboards and then the different switches and the colors. But I guess like I didn't really know the difference. I only know that they probably like sounded different.
Okay.
And that they would prefer different ones.
Okay, so have you heard that the refresh rates before?
No, not really. That one was new, and also about DPI.
Yeah.
The mouse.
Yeah.
Yes. And the new term was it? Ergonomic. I don't remember describing the mouse. Yeah.
Okay. But do you have a desktop now or just using the laptop?
I just have just using a laptop right now, but I'm actually hoping to build a PC
Or
later
in
on.
your home? Okay.
Yes.
So we will have two practical lessons. You guys can come to our one center, and then I will teach you how to build up the PC. And also I will give you an opportunity to try to build up the PC by yourself. We supply the materials that you can build it by yourself. So don't worry about that. You may have an opportunity after this maybe 4 to 6 lesson. I'm not sure about what is the final list because I will cut the lessons like I will combine in the next lesson I will do around 2 hours, and which is about the whole part of the hardwares. Maybe it is so new terms and that you have learned it, you didn't learn it before. So I will send you the PowerPoint after the lesson. Even though today lesson, I will also send you the PowerPoint, give you some ideas, or you can do some revision for your coming if you want to build up the PC and you have a
Yes.
idea to go to the Golden or 黃金 I forgot the name of the computer shopping mall in the Shamshuku. So
Yes.
yeah, you won't become the 水魚 in the coming future. So you mean yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, you know that term. So any more ideas, or if you want to leave, you can leave now.
Yeah. No, just curious about the price range. That's all.
The price range
Yeah.
about each of the different components, or today that I mentioned it before.
Maybe the ones you've mentioned before, and maybe in the coming presentations, if there could be a price range, because since I want to build a PC, I would like to know the price.
Okay, so today lesson that we have talked about the monitor SI. Yeah, I forgot to mention about it. The high refresh rate of the monitor, like this picture, is much for your desktop usage. It is much more higher price if you want to buy it for the 144 hertz or 120 hertz of the refresh rate. But I suppose all of you guys should buy the 120 hertz in your coming monitors, because the 120 hertz is so smoothly when you playing the games or watching the videos. After you use the 120 hertz, you can't use it before the past the 60 hertz the monitor. It is you see that all the videos or all the picture is not very it's a little bit late. It is a little bit late.
Yeah.
Even though you're using the iPhone, the latest iPhone and the former iPhone, it is not about the CPU difference between each other. It is also about the refresh rate. If you're watching the same video about two monitors, you may feel that you would like to using the 120 hertz to watch the video, to watch the film, rather than using 60 hertz, because of your eye will feel it more comfortable. So the monitor is also the prices is also depends on the hertz, the higher hertz. That means that the higher prices that sell it in the computer markets. So
Mm.
the one things that you have to consider it, and also you have to make sure about the monitor can support the HDMI 2.1 output. If the computer monitor can't support the HDMI 2.1, maybe the video will show it a little bit late because of the cable and the output is not enough for the video size is a little bit large that you can't place it. Sorry, you can't like in the monitor you can't play it so smoothly about the videos. So the prices also, there are difference between the speaker about the quality. But you know, when I bought the speaker about 2.0, I bought it around 2000 HKD. The quality sounds quite good than the 5.1 or 7.1. It just depends on which of the quality inside of the speaker. So I suggest all of you guys, if you want to buy the speaker, you should go to the shopping mall to test it, to play the music that you like and you played it. You would like to play it because some of the speaker, their echo is so strong. Some of that, their echo is so weak, and also the bass, the vocal, there are a little bit difference between each other, and some of them can show that more instrument is it instrument of the music? Yeah, it can show it more. So that is the differences between the speaker with the speaker, because I love hear the music, so I will choose the higher prices of the speaker. But you have to listen by your ear, one by one, if you want to choose the speaker.
Okay.
Okay, so, and also the gaming mouse. Most of the gaming mouse, they designed it by the human usage nowadays, and it is more higher prices than the normal mouse. You can also try it in some gaming shop. There are lots of samples that you can test it, and you can try it. How does it look and what is the shape of the mouses, and then you choose the most comfortable mouses that you want to use. And also the keyboard, the sound difference, but I think it is a little bit annoyed, so I just using my normal keyboard to, even though I play the game, because of the sound is so annoying to me for my personality. Sorry, for my personal opinion. I don't know. Maybe you will like the sound of the Bruce Witch and the MX Brown. Like they have a different sounds, and there are better performance using this kind of the keyboard. But the prices, it is higher than the normal keyboard. Maybe around 700 if you want to buy the good one about this kind of the gaming keyboard. So, and also this gaming keyboard provided the RGB, some lighting. If you have an experience to go to the shopping mall, you can see that there are some mouse and the keyboard is lighting. So this is the RGB version. So any ideas or any comments about this lesson, or that you want to ask?
Nothing. Thank you for the presentation and the information.
So I will try to make it more interesting in the coming lessons. So thank you all of you guys, and I will also upload it in the YouTube, and then you can review it every lessons. So I will send you the link after I upload it or edit the videos. So thank you guys to join this lesson today. Our next lesson is Friday, right? I'm not sure.
Should be, yes.
Should be yes. Okay. Today is Wednesday, right? I forgot.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we cut one of the lessons. Maybe the next Monday I will cut it because of it is not sufficient members to join with us. But no worries. Our content will still sufficient for you guys to learn it whole about the computer hardware. So this is the end of our lesson today. Thank you for joining today's lesson. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.